Studies Section 5, Social and Economic Statistics and Indicators. Introduction. The major users of social and economic data and statistics are policymakers, planners, scientists, students, and the general public. This study session will discuss the different types of social and economic statistics with their uses. Learning outcomes for Studies Section 5. At the end of this study session, you should be able to define socio-economic indicators, list the different types, explain the uses of social and economic statistics, explain the criteria for selection of indicators. Socio-economic indicators. Socio-economic indicators provide a measure of society's values that reflect allocation of scarce economic resources. They are an efficient way of measuring the social and economic issues in a country. Properly derived indicators serve to describe and measure development, achievements, and targets as well as to highlight changes in economic and social conditions that may require immediate or future investigations. Indicators have the potential to signal the social conditions and economic health of the country and can assist in formulating policies or actions to serve the long-term needs of the country. Indicators can tell whether things are getting better or worse, whether problems are increasing or current policies are achieving the desired goals. Definition of socio-economic indicators. An indicator is something that is measured regularly to show trends or changes in the state of a system. It is a quantitative measure against which certain aspect of policy performance can be assessed. According to Quetpo and Area, indicators are surrogates for direct measurement which approximate, represent, or indicate the extent of the quality of property in question. As the name implies, socio-economic indicators have to do with both the social and economic aspect of measuring development, achievement, or targets and evaluation of policies. Socio-economic indicators include employment, production, supply, disposition of goods and services, health, education, etc., making them part of a multidimensional system reflecting the pattern of development. Nature and types of indicators. Some social and economic indicators consist of simple aggregations, ratios, and proportions. A. Ratio indicator. This is a single term indicating the relative size of two numbers. If x is a number, y another number, the ratio is x over y, e.g., example, total number of male births registered in Igboora between 1965 and 1972 inclusive was 4,542 compared with 4,322 female births. The sex ratio, male to female, at birth in Igboora was 4,542 to 4,322, is equal to 1.051. B. Proportion indicator. This is obtained as the total number of subjects experiencing an event divided by the total number in the universe, the sum of those experiencing the event and those not experiencing the event. Thus, in the Igboora example, the proportion of male births between 1965 and 1972 inclusive was 4,542 divided by bracket 4,542 plus 4,322 is equal to 0.512. C. Rate indicator. This is a racial indicator with temporal component in the definition. In other words, rate is a ratio with time reference. Examples include birth rates, death rates, etc. Index numbers. These generate indicators relating to output prices, wages, etc. They can employ weights or just the simple index numbers. Central tendency and measures of dispersion. These types of indicators are used for relating the distribution of income and consumption. Examples of measures include the Gini or Pareto coefficient, which are beyond the scope of this lecture. Examples of socio-economic indicators: childbearing. 1. Total fertility rate. 2. Estimated maternal mortality ratio. 3. Contraceptive prevalence among married women of childbearing age. Any method and modern methods. Education. A. School life expectancy, expected number of years of formal schooling, total and by sex. B. School enrollment by sex. Health. A. Life expectancy at birth by sex, years. B. Infant mortality rate. C. Child mortality rate by sex. Housing. A. Average number of persons per room for total urban and rural area. Illiteracy. A. Estimated adult illiteracy by sex. B. Illiterate rate by sex for aged 15 to 24 and 25 plus. Income and economic activity. A. Per capita GDP US dollar. B. Adult economic activity rate by sex. Population. A. Estimated population by sex. B. Sex ratio male per 100 females. C. Average annual rate of change of population. Others include A. Gross national or domestic product. B. Income distribution. C. Work conditions. D. Adult literacy rate by sex. E. Food availability. F. Housing. G. School enrollment by sex. H. etc. Uses of socio-economic indicators. There are various uses of socio-economic indicators, both in the short run and on the long run. Some of the uses are as follows. 1. To provide relevant information about social and economic conditions so as to measure changes in these conditions. 2. To analyze and diagnose the conditions. 3. To formulate policies and assess their impact on the social and economic well-being of the people. Selection of socio-economic indicators. The intended use of an indicator determines its selection. An indicator can be used for planning purpose and for analyzing situation. There are theoretical and statistical criteria. They include the following criteria, which generally defines the usefulness of an indicator. Policy relevant. A good indicator 1. Monitors the key outcomes of socio-economic policy and legislation and informs progress towards policy goals. 2. Measures socio-economic processes that affect economy and lifestyles. 3. Provides appropriate information to aid policy decision-making. Measurable. A good indicator 1. Measures changes on an appropriate temporal scale. It must furnish measures of absolute levels or trends that conform to the aspect of living conditions or the social service in question. 2. Is representative of the system being assessed and is reliable over time. 3. Has predictive capabilities. Cost-effective. A good indicator 1. Requires limited number of parameters to be established. 2. Uses existing data and information where possible. 3. Is simple to monitor. Analytically valid. To possess this attribute, a good indicator must be such that 1. It is developed with consistent analytical framework. 2. The data is clearly defined, verifiable, and scientifically acceptable. 3. The data collection must use standard methodologies with known accuracy and precision. Statistical integrity. Simple and easy to understand. A good indicator must 1. Be simple to interpret, accessible, and publicly appealing. 2. Clearly inform about the issues it represents. Techniques for construction of socio-economic indicators. This basically deals with the rearrangement of statistics and the adoption of suitable techniques for converting basic statistics into indicators. Indicators relate the numbers in a given state or experiencing a given event to the total population. Summary of Study Section 5. In this study session, you have learned that 1. Socio-economic indicators provide a measure of society's values that reflect allocation of scarce economic resources. They are an efficient way of measuring the social and economic issues in a country. 2. An indicator is something that is measured regularly to show trends or changes in the state of a system. 3. Social economic indicators include employment, production, supply, disposition of goods and services, health, education, etc., making them part of a multidimensional system reflecting the pattern of development. 4. Some social and economic indicators consist of simple aggregations, ratios, and proportions. This is the end of study section 5. Thanks for listening.